Hello everyone, so we are here now to do UGC net analysis of political science paper, okay, 2021. So let us do some analysis of some of the questions that are asked in the exam, okay. So just let us start. So the first question that came up was, who said that public administration is the accomplishment of politically determined objectives? Okay. So basically you have to tell in this particular question that this statement is said by whom? Okay. So who said that public administration is the accomplishment of politically determined objective? Four options that were given to the candidates was Carrison and Harris, option A. B. Demock and Demock. C. L.D. White. D. Woodrow Wilson. Okay. So now in the answer keys, the answer that is given is Demock and Demock. So the correct option and the correct response that is given by UGC NET 2021 is Demock and Demock. Okay. But the query is that many people have come up with that they are saying that Demock and Demock is not the correct response for this question. Why? Because this particular statement has been said by some other person also, okay, and the name of that person is Luther Gellick. Okay, so by Luther Gellick also this statement has been said, right? So some argument is going on that this option that UGC net has given is not absolutely correct, but according to the answer key that has been provided, the correct response is Demock and Demock. So the first question for this is the correct response is Demock and Demock. Let's see question number 2. So question number 2 was asked on the concept of performance budgeting. Quite an easy question to handle. So it said that performance budget reflects how well a government entity is meeting its goal and objectives. So which of the following are the central points of a performance budgeting? Okay. So out of the four options that were given to you, you have to tell that which of the following are the central points of performance budgeting. So option A that was given to you was it require the establishment of performance levels and the collection of information. Okay, so establishment of performance level, that how the government is performing, and side by side you are also collecting the information. Okay, I can say the collection of data. So this was the first option. Second option that was given to you, the amount of work that is done is measured. So you are measuring the amount that is done. It can be related to various fields, right? C option was given as the quality or the results of that work is measured. Okay, so not just quantity but also quality. The third option reflects that the quality or the result of the work is measured in performance budgeting. Okay, D option that is given to you is this impact how much money a department will receive in the future. So out of the four options, let us just discuss that which one is the correct. Okay, so when I talk about performance budgeting and I want to explain performance budgeting, so what is performance budgeting? Simply, if I say performance budgeting, it is a system, okay, that uses performance information for the allocation spending, very important, okay, and management of a government's financial resources, so that how things will be managed by the government, plus performance allocation for the resources. So government adopt performance based budgeting for what? What is the reason? The simple reason is to improve spending prioritization. Okay, so the basic purpose of adopting performance budgeting is improving spending prioritization. And the other thing that performance budgeting comes for is to increase the efficiency, okay, and effectiveness of the public expenditure system. So if I talk about performance budget, so yes, it requires the establishment of personal levels and the collection of information. So A option is absolutely correct. Okay, so yes, my A option is correct. Coming to option number B, the amount of work that is done is measured. This is also correct. Yes, the work that is being done, it is measured. Okay, so we can say that B option is also correct. Okay, C, the quality of the results of the work is measured. Yes, even the quality. Okay, so not just quantity but quality is also measured, that how the work is being done. So yes, we can say that option number C is also correct. Coming to last option D, this impacts how much money a department will receive in the future. Okay, so definitely D option is also correct. So if you know about performance budgeting, you can easily tackle this particular question, right? So when we see the options, the first thing that comes into mind is which to eliminate. But over here, you can see that A, B, C, D fits in completely. So the four options that were given to the candidates were, you have to choose between A, B, and C only. A, B, C, and D only, that is all of the above. B and C only, and last is C and D only. So out of them, which is the correct response? Yes, it is A, B, C, and D only. All the options are absolutely correct. So with this, we could tackle the question very easily, right? Performance budgeting. Now let's move to the other question. Now let us see the other question. This is another question that was asked in the exam, that given below are two statements. Okay, one is labeled as assertion A and the other is labeled as reason R. So you have to, in light of the above statement, you have to choose the most appropriate answer from the given options, right? So some can say that yes, this question was quite tricky, but overall I would say that it was quite an easy question to attempt for. So first assertion A is John Locke was portrayed as possessive individualist. Okay, so yes, he was possessive individualist. He was the first one to give this theory of possessive individualism. Okay, the ideology of possessive individualism. So it is a very the possessive individualism. It is a very specific conception that John Locke has given of the individual and his roles in the social world. So there is no doubt this assertion A is wrong. Assertion A is absolutely correct in nature. So yes, John Locke was portrayed as possessive individualist. Coming to reason R. Reason R. Now this is where the confusion starts. John Locke was not in favor of merely maximizing interest. Okay, so you have to see firstly, is there any relation or something, right? So reason says that yes, he was possessive individualist. Okay, and reason says that for the assertion that he was not in favor of merely maximizing interest. So assertion A is definitely true. And reason, okay, I won't go by the reason fact, I'll go by the statement that John Locke was not in favor that merely we have to think about maximizing interest of the individual and the other interest should be ignored. That is something wrong. Okay, so yes, this statement is true. So he was not in favor of merely maximizing interest. So we can say that yes, I come to the conclusion that both these statements, statement number 1 that is given to you and your statement number 2, both these statements are absolutely correct. But now both these statement is correct, so I will eliminate option A and I will also eliminate option B. I am left with two options, that is option C and D. Now this is the confusion where arises. Now the easiest and simplest way to tackle this particular question is C. Both A and R correct. But can you see is there any correlation between A and R? Absolutely no. Okay, so I cannot find that relation between the two. So I come to the very conclusion that yes, both these statements are definitely correct, that John Locke was portrayed as possessive individualist and John Locke was not in favor of merely maximizing interest and he didn't ignore the other interest, right? So, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So we can say that R is not the correct explanation of A. So I come to the conclusion that my option number D is the correct response. So easily, if you think for this question, okay, it would hardly take 1.5 minutes. You can easily tackle this particular question. Let's move to the next question. So fourth question that is in front of our screen is, and it was asked in UGC NET 2021. So who among the following refer to the Constituent Assembly? So they are talking about the Constituent Assembly of India as microsome in action. Okay, so even if you don't know, if you are reading about Constituent Assembly, okay, so some names will definitely come up to your mind. Four options that were given to the candidates was A. B.R. Ambedkar, B. Granville Austin, C. Rajendra Prasad, and D. Rajni Kothari. Okay, so if you read about Constituent Assembly, the first thing that should come into your mind is Granville Austin, okay? Because when you're studying about Constituent Assembly of India, there is lots of content that we get to read about Granville Austin, and that he has spoken for the Constituent Assembly of India, okay? So the correct option is Granville Austin over here. So the correct response, a very easy and a very direct question that has been asked. So correct response is response number B. So don't get confused with B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, so it's not B.R. Ambedkar. The correct response is Granville Austin. Let's move to the next question. Let us see this particular question. Now, this question was asked from UN Charter for Preservation of Peace. Quite an interesting question, right? And if you have read the chapters of UN Charter, then it would be very easy to tackle this particular question. So, it says that which of the following features are given in the UN Charter for Preservation of Peace? Four options are there. A. Peacemaking procedure is given chapter 6 for the peaceful settlement of disputes. Absolutely correct. Chapter 6, okay, talks about peacemaking. And with chapter 6, chapter 7 also talks about peacemaking. B option, chapter 8 deals with the peacekeeping activities. No, chapter 8 does not deal with the peacekeeping activities. So statement B is absolutely wrong in nature. Let's come to option number C. Peace enforcement is given in chapter 7 for coercive settlement of disputes. This is also absolutely correct. So option C is definitely correct option. So if you're talking about peacemaking operations, right? So you have to remember that they are mentioned in chapter 6 and 7. Okay, so UN Charter for Preservation of Peace. B option, chapter 9 deals with economic cooperation among states. Yes, absolutely correct. When you're talking about economic cooperation, it is very well mentioned in chapter 9 of the UN Charter. So choose the correct answer from the options given below. Four options are there in front of you. A and B only, A and C only, B and C only, and B and D only. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I think it's very easy now because we have just got to know that option B is absolutely wrong. So I'll eliminate all those options which carry option B. So I am left with option number 2. So hereby I can say the correct statement, the correct answer for this particular question is option 2. Okay.